Hi everyone. Today let's take a look at how to create a custom palette, how to create it and save it for future use. So let's start with, I've got Adobe Illustrator open, and you'll notice that first I have my page vertical. Doesn't really matter for this because we're going to be bringing artwork in, and then we're going to be converting it. But what I do want to do first is open up my import and change it to painting. So I want to bring out the painting tools. The next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and go off to the side and left click and drag my photo onto the artboard. So we can see from past classes here that I have my image brought in. It's a little larger than the artboard, but that's okay. I don't need to worry about shrinking it up for this because I'm going to be converting it into a vector image. So again, this is a raster, brought it in. And this is an image that is the typical scene for a winter, say, landscape. Now what I'm going to do with this is I have to convert it from raster into vector. So I'm going to go to my image trace, but when I do, there are, as we know, there are different ways that you can import your images of different quality. There's certainly know everything from high fidelity photo down through 16 colors. These are all the ones we're using for converting photos. Now, I'm going to go ahead first, I'm going to bring it in as a high fidelity photo. Now we know that when we do this, it's going to slowly convert it and it's going to pick out the greatest number of highlights, shadows, tints, and tones of all the different colors that are available. We see there's the image now. Now all I have to do now is go ahead and expand it, and then it will automatically be vectorized and it will be permanently in the program. So I click on the expand button. And now we have it, because there's so many variations of light and dark and gradations of color that happen here. We have so much blue happening here. But that's really what you want in a high resolution conversion. Now, to save this into our swatches, to go ahead and save all these different colors and put them in here so that we can reuse them for another project, here's what you do. Over here on the swatches, we look for this little blank folder that's right here. If I stop my cursor on top, you notice it says New Color Group. Okay, so you'll note that I have this selected. It's all in blue. I go over to, again, the New Color Group, click on it. Now, it says Color Group 1, so I'm going to label this Winter. Now, with this box that pops up here, this is asking create it from selected swatches or selected artwork. In this case, it's selected artwork, so that's selected, and that's appropriate. Down below, however, where it says Convert Process to Global, we want to click on that, because what that's going to do is that's going to give us the widest number of colors, and it's going to identify each color with the numerical sequence so that it can be used for the Pantone color process. So that's always good to have that selected. And of course, include swatches for tints. That's important because then you get more variety in your colors. So I'm going to say OK, and what will happen is that you'll see those colors appear right here in the swatches library. Here we go, ready? 1, 2, 3. And there they are. They have appeared. So I can drag this down. These are the colors in here. Now, so we can take a look at it, let me show you. I'm going to go ahead and move this over, and I'm going to go to my swatches tab here, left click on it and drag it right out, and then I'm going to stretch it to bring it down. Now you see all the colors in there? All of the colors that are right here in this swatch, in this folder, are the colors that are found in here, okay, from a high fidelity resolution vectorization. Now, you'll notice that they have these little white triangles on them. And you notice when I move my cursor over them that I get these little pop-ups. These are the color conversions needed, that if you wanted to go back and send these colors to a printer, you could say, well, I have color cyan, magenta, yellow. I have numbers, what is that one there? 69, 12, and 54, and K0. So I have basically this breakdown of the colors formula so that I can accurately have them represented if I'm going to be making something new from these colors. Okay, Now I showed you this where I showed you a big color palette, and we did this and brought it in as a high resolution photo. What I'm going to do right now is I'm going to left click and drag a box around this and delete it. Because again, I want you to see, I deleted the photo. Do I still need to go ahead and keep it? No, because look, the colors are right there in that library. What I'm going to do though is I'm going to bring it in again, and this time I'm going to treat it a little differently. And I want to show you that difference between when you convert it using a different setting. If I go down to the image trace again, and I go down here, instead of we did a high fidelity photo, which took a lot of colors, I'm going to take this down to 16 and say, all right, I only want 16 colors, or the 16 most apparent colors that are happening in that photograph. I'm going to give it a moment. What's going to happen is you're only going to get 16 colors. Look at how it's more mottled, it's more blurred, it's a little bit more just clumps together of groupings of larger clusters of colors that are more simplified. Almost looks like a paint by number painting. What we're going to do now is we're going to go ahead and expand it. And there we are. Notice we have a lot fewer of the blue lines breaking down all the gradations of the colors because we only picked 16 colors. Now I'm going to go ahead and save this once again to my swatches. So I'm going to go ahead and click on the little envelope here. This one says new, or excuse me, new folder. It says new color group. Click on that. And I'll go ahead and say everything is selected here. Select artwork, process global. Good, it's all set. Just have to change the name. So make that summer 2. Yeah, winter. Good heavens, summer. That's not summer. Winter 2, much better. And we say OK. And there it is, right there. So this little folder right here, under winter 2, that's all the colors that came out of 16. Those are the top 16 colors that was here. This folder, I said, go ahead and do a high resolution, and that's why it gave me so many colors. Now, I'm going to delete what's on the screen right there again one time. I'm going to bring this in one more time to show you. Bring it again, but this time I'm going to use the lowest setting. I'm going to go to 3 colors. All right, and I'll give it a second here. And there it is, 3 colors. Those are the 3 dominant colors in all of that photo. There they are. So if I say expand, and then I go down to the new color group, and it's all set here, so I'm going to say winter, number 3, and say OK. I only get the top 3 colors in there. Look at that. That's all I get. But let me show you a little secret here. Some of you wanted to go back in and play with this. Watch this. I can go ahead, let me delete this image. I'm going to bring it in again. But what I want to show you this time is that you have a little bit of flexibility here in that you're not quite locked into this high fidelity, low fidelity, 3, 6, 16 range. You have some wiggle room. Let's go ahead and take, I'm going to do the 3 color again, but watch what I do. Do the 3 color, let it process. But what we can do now is, you might remember from the last time we were playing with the Frankenstein images with the filters, we went to the tracing. We used our tracing tools to make some adjustments to those images. We can go back there right now. Just go ahead and click up here where it says painting and change it to tracing. Now your tracing tools open up. I'm going to click on this little drop down area here. What I'm going to do right now though is where it says colors 3, notice I've got a range here of 2 to 30. So I can go in and say if I want 5 colors. Move it up to 5, give it a moment. There we go, just added 5 colors to it. Let's say if I want, 10 colors. Give it a moment. Now we have 10 colors in there. So you can see I can go ahead if I want, say, 20 colors. Now these are going to be the top 20 colors used. Look at that. And so I can leave it just like this and say 20 colors, perfect. I'm getting a little bit of greens, I'm getting some reds in there, I've got some yellows and blues. I got a nice collection of colors here. We'll leave it there. So I can go right now, just go back to painting. There's my swatches, everything's there. So now I can go ahead and expand it. Ah, there you go. So now I've expanded it. Now I'm going to go ahead and go back to that little folder, new color group, and we'll call this winter TR number 4. Wintry, wintre, W-I-N-T-E-R. Thank you. Number 4. There we go. And our selections are all correct, so we say OK. And there it is. So we had a full, we had a 16, we had a 3, And with this one, we did a custom 20 colors. So you really have a lot of variety of things that you can do with this process. So I want to be able to show you guys that. Now there's one thing we can do with this now. I want to show you how to export it so you can bring it back in. So I'm going to go ahead and delete this photo. Gone. Now let's say that I want to use this swatch library that I've created for something else. Okay. What I want to do then to save this or export it is right here I go to this little stack of books that are on the left hand side where it says Swatch Libraries menu. Just left click on that, and at the top here it says Save Swatches. So Save Swatches. Click on that. Now I just call it Winter. That's my winter swatch collection. And I'm going to go ahead, and you can put it wherever you want. I'm just going to put it on desktop so I can find it. Maybe I'll actually put it in my demo folder over there on the side so I can find it easily. So I put it right there in my demo folder. And it says winter. And notice at the bottom here it says swatch files with a .ai on there. This is very important because it's a very special kind of film. Collection, because it's an export from AI that's meant to be brought in as a tool. So let's go and say save. And if I open up here, and I got all my Frankenstein stuff, and I can look around here, and there it is, Winter AI. See, that is my brush one. So if I wanted to create a folder, but put all these color palettes into it, I can do that. I can put all those in there and open that. But let me show you here now. I'm going to close this up, and with my window here, you'll notice that nothing is here, nothing is in the layers, so I have no object there. Okay. Now I'm going to take this guy right here and I'm going to put this back in here. By the way, these panels that you can tear out, if I just grab the head bar at the top and let it hover over, you see where it turns blue when I come in there? That means it wants to go back in. So I just release and it goes back in. Now let's go ahead and do this. Let's go ahead and import that library that I exported. Now just to prove to you that I'm not going to be using this or reopening the same one, I'm going to go to File and New and open a brand new Adobe Illustrator folder. And say create. That's done. See, it's there. Notice our colors are not there in the swatches. If I go up here to the two tabs, here's the file I'm on, but here's the previous one I was on. Notice how these just pop back up. So I go back to the new one, old one, new one. Now in the new one, I'm going to show you here. I'm going to import. What we do is go back to this little tab right here that looks like a little books on a bookshelf. Okay. Click on that. Now the first time when we saved the swatch and we exported it, we went up here to save swatches. But now when we want to import, we want to go to Other Library at the bottom. Other Library. Click on that. Now I go to where it is. It's in Demo. There it is, Winter. And I say Open. And there it is. It automatically just opened just the swatch. Now you look at it and go, wait a minute. It's the same colors that are there. Ah, yes they are, but there's more. You have to stretch the window out. So if I move my cursor to the bottom, it becomes a double arrow. Left click and pull down, and there they are. There's the colors. So I had exported it from the previous AI file, put it on my desktop. Now I reopened it just as the colors. Now if I want to bring it into here, I can again, once again, just grab it at the head bar, grab it, let it hover, and then release. And it pops it right in. Notice it says Swatches, Libraries. Ah, that's my winter library. And I scroll up and down, and there's my colors in there. All right. So there we have it. We have how to import, bring a photo, bring an object in, how to convert it from a raster into vector, and then how to save it in different modes to get different quantities of color, how to save that palette, put it in there, and then how to then export it and re-import it. Okay. So hope you've enjoyed this. Go ahead, please, and practice this yourself. You might want to do this a couple of times with some different photos and see what kind of effects you get on your own. All right, I hope you enjoyed, and we'll talk to you soon.